Hey, everybody. Welcome to the family show. Sam, my man, what's going on, brother?
Oh, having a great week. How about you, Todd? How's everything been at your home?
I am doing wonderful. Lots of yard work, lots of hanging on the back patio. It's good. But I got to ask, Have, what's going on, bro?
Well, you see, my week hasn't been that great.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Oh, we just won't go into that right now, because I'm here to have fun.
All right.
I want to play some games.
Oh, Lord.
Let's play a game.
Games scare me. So, Sam, we got a special guest today.
We got a special guest. It's Samantha Cooper Scoops, our youth pastor here.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Riverbend.
So that means only one of us get to play.
Only one of us gets to play the game. So maybe we can play a game of paper, rock, scissors, decide who's going to play Scoops.
What did you just say?
Paper, rock, what?
Yeah, that's what I called you. Paper, rock, scissors.
It's called rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, well, I had a deprived childhood, so we're going to play
Wow,
paper,
we're just
rock,
going right
scissors.
into it. Okay, so on the count of three, we're going, and whoever wins is in the game. Right?
How
That's
about
right.
whoever wins has to play me in tack-tick-toe?
That's funny.
That's true.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Ready? 1,
2, 3.
I'm in the game. Please be
Always
gentle.
second best.
Yeah, okay.
All
so
right.
we're going to be calling Scoops up here. Get up here, Sam Cooper. You ready?
1, 2, 3.
All right, Scoops. Now, I know this is your first time being here. You excited?
I was until I saw what was on the table, so I'm a little nervous. I won't lie.
Well, here's the deal. Have has promised me that this one's going to be nice, and he's going to take it easy on us.
Yeah.
Have, I'm worried, but go ahead and give us the instructions.
The promise is if you do have to eat something, it's not more than 2 ingredients.
I don't
I'm
know
just
if
kidding.
that's-
I'm just kidding. You won't eat anything.
Oh.
You're okay. You're okay. You see, what we're doing for our game today is I was eating on my way in. I had a sandwich.
Okay.
But unfortunately, for my sandwich, I used the rest of my Grammy's fortified cookie dough mayonnaise.
What?
There's no mayonnaise in.
Yeah, that.
Fortified cookie dough mayonnaise.
Even if you repeated it, it doesn't make me feel
Now, I put it on my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You gotta try it sometimes. It's amazing. But because I used it all, I gotta make some more. So I thought we could do today's game by making fortified cookie dough mayonnaise.
Oh, my
And because
Nice.
Scoops is our guest,
Oh, of course, because of me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
we decided to name the game Scoops, I Did It Again.
Scoops, I did it.
I'm so sorry.
Quiet. I'm gonna say the title one more
We're going
time.
to point up, right?
It's like you've been here. This is good. Okay,
Starting
you ready?
over here, Scoops.
Sorry.
You got it. So you point up.
Yeah.
Like this, and you say it with me.
All right.
Okay. Scoops, I did it again. We pointed twice for again, like it's 2 words.
Again.
Oh, that's funny.
Syllables. Those are called syllables, Have.
Okay, the way this game works
Okay.
is you have a measuring cup with a line of tape on it.
Yeah.
You have some mayonnaise, and you have some cookie dough ice cream.
Yes.
You start with 1 part mayonnaise. Use the knife in front of you and fill the measuring cup to the line with mayonnaise using only the knife.
Now, do we do it now?
Nope.
Okay.
Then, when you're done with that, you do the same exact thing with the cookie dough.
Uh-huh.
You fill it to the line and dump it in the big mayonnaise jar.
I see. Okay.
You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Our goal is 1 part mayonnaise, 1 part cookie dough ice cream.
How many syllables does mayonnaise have?
Who invited her?
Well,
She's here to make fun of me.
yeah.
Todd doesn't know how to say mayonnaise. He likes
You might have to take a
Miracle
bite
Whip.
when we're done. See how you like it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we're supposed to fill up half to the line with mayonnaise, then half to the line with cookie dough.
Mm-hmm.
So then we put it in that big thing.
You got it.
And that's it?
And the first one to get done wins. Okay?
Oh.
Are you ready?
Am I allowed to put down my mic to make this happen, or do I have to one-hand this?
One-handed.
Oh,
Because I need to hear
okay.
your responses during the game,
Ooh,
okay?
okay.
Are you
Okay.
ready?
I don't
Yeah.
think so,
Okay,
but I'm
before
gonna...
you go,
So-
hold on 1 second. One thing.
What What are you getting there, but
What are you? What?
Oh,
Oh.
a boombox?
Thank you. That's my
What?
boombox. I'm gonna play a song.
Can I set it? Can I set it here?
Yeah, set it down.
Oh, gosh.
Perfect.
Right down
Perfect.
there. That's good.
Here we go.
Okay, are we ready?
I think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, on your marks, get set. Todd,
What?
can you press play on the boombox?
Play.
Woohoo! And go! Go for it, Todd.
One hand?
Oh,
It's
gosh.
just
One hand, open up that mayonnaise.
Okay.
What?
So we're going over here.
Come on, Scoops. You
I'm
can.
going. I'm going.
You
I'm
can do
trying.
it. Fill it up.
Am
Fill up.
So I'm not allowed to
measuring,
use the spoon?
measuring cup.
Oh, okay.
You can do it.
This is not.
Is this
very-
okay?
Do your arms hurt?
Don't tell him.
It's not. I don't have a punchline. I'm just asking a serious question, Scoop.
That's so much mayonnaise. Ugh. I'm gonna vomit just smelling it.
Oh, don't do that. That'd be gross.
Oh gosh.
You guys got it?
Yeah.
You got it?
I'm definitely winning this, just so you know.
Oh, you haven't seen Todd's jar.
Oh no! Oh no!
Todd, you're doing great. Keep up the good
slow
work.
him down. Slow him down.
Slow him down.
Yeah,
Okay,
slow him
I've
down.
got an idea.
Yeah.
We're gonna use two hands.
Oh, you're right. Shh. Do we? Hey, can I get an okay on that?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. This is okay.
You'd think I never put on glasses before. Oh, sorry, Todd. You filling it up?
I'm sure
It's
trying.
jiggling. My Grammy's gonna
There
be
you go.
so happy.
Wait, are you?
Good job. Now do the ice cream. Fill it to the line and put it inside the jar with the
That's so
mayonnaise.
messed up.
Ooh, ooh,
I don't
ooh.
like you, Have. You're hurting my feelings now. This smells horrible.
You're doing great, Todd.
I did it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Quit
telling lies.
How did you do the ice cream already?
I put it in a spoon. I put it in there. I put it in here.
See,
Oh, that smells horrible.
I gotta be honest, this ice cream has been sitting out all
Do you
day.
do you want to take a whiff?
This is so.
Oh!
Here, smell it.
Ugh! You guys,
This is
it's
so.
killing me. It smells
it's
just like
so
Grammy's
bad.
recipe. You're doing great.
Look, I got mine. I'm
Okay, now mix it all up. Mix it all up.
I'm in a mess.
Oh my gosh. There's
Ew.
stuff everywhere.
Oh,
This smells so bad.
don't throw up now.
I'll try not to.
This is really
And it looks
bad.
like
You know the good thing is once you mix it together, you kind of forget there's mayonnaise in there, right?
No, I don't forget this.
okay, and the winner is Scoops. Scoops, you did it.
That means I don't.
It's messed
I don't
up.
have to do anything in this, right?
Messed up.
Scoops did it.
I did
Scoops, That's what. Okay, hold on. You win.
The
I win.
Scoops did it again, huh?
I did. Scoops. All I
Okay.
do is win, win, win.
You win $1.
Buckaroo.
$1.
Thank you.
And this is, by the way, this isn't just any dollar.
Oh,
This is a special fake dollar that you can't use at real stores, but you can use it at any one of my 14 Austin area boutiques.
oh, goody.
You
They're
have,
imaginary.
you have boutiques.
Thank you.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. So
This is great.
So listen, I gotta ask, Have. You know, when we first started this, you seemed a little down, buddy.
Yeah.
You just
I did
you notice
that.
Scoops?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
Well, what's going on, man?
Well, you see, my entire life, at least the last 36 hours, I've always wanted to be one thing.
What was that one thing, hey?
Uh,
Oh,
Oh boy.
oh dear.
Seriously?
Oh,
An astronaut.
wow.
Really?
An astronaut, a real live NASA astronaut.
Well, yes. I was thinking maybe I could fly with SpaceX up into outer space.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would
But
be
then I
pretty-
found out that they went without me.
Oh.
Oh, buddy.
I'm sorry, Have. That must be disappointing.
It was so gut-wrenchingly disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, hey, today we're going to actually be talking about how to sort of deal with disappointment. You know, it happens sometimes.
It
in
does.
life.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We-
Have, it happens to everybody.
Yeah, we've got some ideas on how we might be able to help, but what we're going to do is we're going to bring Mr. Sam back, and we're going to have a conversation. I think it may help you, buddy.
Yeah.
That sounds super exciting because I really need some encouragement right now.
We've got you,
We
man.
can do that.
All right. Well, you guys ready? Let's do it. Hey, everybody. Well, welcome back to the Family Show. That was a fun game, but we are super excited to have this conversation today. We're going to be talking about how to teach your kids or sort of navigate disappointment with your kiddos, but then also focusing a little bit on the class of 2020 and what they experienced and what they didn't experience. And we've got Pastor Sam Boone here with us. He's going to help us out with a family pastor. Then we have Scoops. Samantha Cooper is our youth pastor. And then Mr. Travis Taylor down there. Travis, you got a unique hat, buddy. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. But Travis is going to be here as well. And we're just going to have a good conversation about a topic that we feel is pretty valid. So we hope you guys engage with us. Sam, take it away.
So what we want to talk about today is just how disappointing this is for all of our seniors, for our grads, for the class of 2020. And so maybe I was thinking one of the things that we could start with is talk about our senior years, talk about when you graduated, however long ago that was. What was something that was funny or something memorable, something disappointing of your senior year? So if we just want to, the four of us kind of share, and Scoops, you want to start?
I would love to. I graduated high school class of 2008 at Westlake, and I know, go Shaps. I was on the softball team. I'm going to bring a little comedy in this because you got to at some point. So I was on the softball team. You know, there's always a senior game, right? And so it's our last home game. Our coach decides, you know, all the seniors are going to start. And let me tell you, I was not really a starter. I hit. I was a batter. That they put me in that lineup, but I didn't really play the field a lot. So she puts me in right field, which is basically the get her in the game. Yeah. And I don't even remember what inning, but fly ball right to right field, going for it, hits the tip of my glove. It just keeps going. Yeah, just back to the fence. Had to run after it. The girl makes it to third base, had to chunk it to third base. Luckily stopped her from getting a in the park home run. But it's one of those moments for like the next 10 years. I cringed about every time I thought. Now I'm like, what can you do?
Wow.
My whole family's there. You know, it's great.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's watching.
You get to share it with the world now.
Exactly. So now you all know. So, yeah.
Trav, you got one, man?
Maybe not quite like that. The difference that I had was I had done so much like extra credit because I was in band and ASB and all these things throughout high school, and I just dropped the ball like the last 2 months of high school. I was just done. Yeah. And so the thing that almost threw me for a loop was I remember vividly laying in my room on a Monday. And I was supposed to be in school, and my dad was watching a movie with me, and he walks into my bedroom and he was like, Trav, I just got off the phone with your school. They said you've missed 14 consecutive days of school. Where have you been? And I was like, Dad, we've been watching movies in my bedroom, like here, like home. Like I was taking like whatever summer break is after senior year way early. Right. But then all of a sudden it turned into like, listen, we're getting to a point where he might not even be able to graduate if he doesn't improve this attendance record towards the end. So I did have to kind of buckle up a little bit and put myself back in the game. And I did get to walk, and I did get to play a song at graduation, but there were many teachers that were not thrilled that I was there. Wow. And that was awkward at best. I was that guy.
Was your song about senioritis?
Yeah.
Should have been.
Yeah.
Senioritis, but to the max.
That is crazy.
I played, I think, Graduate by Third Eye Blind or something like that.
That is funny.
How about you, Todd? Anything?
Well, mine, funny enough, involves baseball field, similar to Scoops. I was a catcher for as long as I could remember in baseball, and I was born when I was 5 with alopecia, which basically just created bald spots all over your head, that kind of thing. Well, my hair, when it was in, was super dark. Now, the challenge is being a catcher, I always wore sort of a hard hat, and then the mask was down and that kind of thing. We were playing Arlington High School, which was, I hate to say it, a little bit more of a snooty group of people. Anyway, so the pop fly goes up. Well, I quickly flip my mask off. Well, about the time that I flip my mask off, my helmet comes off. And I run over to the dugout and I catch the ball and I look down and this whole group of guys are looking at me like I'm some kind of science project, like they've never seen that before. So to say that it was uncomfortable, yeah, but then we just sort of had fun with it. And in the walk through line, we, had some shenanigans and I took my hat off and rubbed it. And that was the one they were shaking. So I think you're going to have some fun with it, right? So yeah, it was.
Now your hair is going to fall out too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So watch it.
They didn't want to shake my hand.
Yeah. Well, I remember being a senior and the very end of our senior year, having prom. And I remember I went with a buddy of mine and we each took our own dates, and he had this girl that he was really trying to impress, and we're out at dinner at this fancy restaurant, and he's nervous and anxious, and right in the middle of our dinner, we're with about 8 of us at this table. Everyone's dressed up incredibly fancy, and he just vomits on the middle. And I was the only one who laughed. And I was like, this is amazing. And everyone was like, that's so insensitive. I'm like, well, and it makes a good story. So it's, I won't share his name. We'll keep his name. I have a friend. It wasn't me. So yeah, crazy. But senior year, there's a lot of really fun things that happen, a lot of really special things, graduation, a lot of those end of the year things. And I'd love to hear from you, Scoops, because you work with our students. What are some of our students, whether they're seniors or just even a lot of students, what are they saying? What are they feeling? What's kind of going on?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. I think some of the things we just talked about is things we remember from our senior year. Are things that they're missing out on right now. Yeah. And that's sort of how they feel, is they got gypped. Mm-hmm. They got gypped out of the end of this year. They missed out on prom and graduation and things that they've been looking forward to their whole life. I know for me, when I was in high school, 2008 felt like the year that would never come. And when it was finally there, you're like, this is the best. And it just, they miss out. They've missed out. They've gotten gypped, and it's disappointing and it's hard. It sucks. And I think a lot of them feel like they're grieving something. Maybe they don't realize they're grieving it, but it's a loss.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's an interesting word, right? Grief, right? That it really is grief, because it really is a loss. It is disappointing. It's hard, but there really is a sense of grieving.
Absolutely.
And that's a big thing.
Yeah, I found this actual statement from someone that I wanted to share. It says, we were ready to celebrate 13 years of first days of school, buying supplies, teachers, conferences, signed papers, packing lunches, paid fees, homework, test stress, failing, passing, thriving, surviving, navigating friend groups, making the team, not making the team, finding out the right fit, and college applications. We were ready for the season that acknowledged that we made it, but it never came. As a parent, I think you always want to tell your kids it's going to be okay. But in this time that we're in right now, I think we find ourselves, even as parents, going, is it going to be okay? You sort of ask yourself that question. And as much as you want to make them, feel better in that moment, I think it's normal for each of us as parents to sort of go, man, I don't know how it's going to turn out. But the thing that I want you to, this isn't okay what you're going through, but you're going to be okay. Yeah. That's the important thing to share with them. So, yeah.
I think that's really important that you say that, Todd, because I think we need to make sure that we give kids the time to grieve.
Yeah.
It's not just a constant look forward. It's going to be okay. Things are going to change. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. This is hard, right? They are struggling. We are struggling. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to give them the time to mourn what didn't happen, what they thought was going to be and is not anymore. Mm-hmm. We have to give them that space to be able to grieve and to mourn and to really think through that and process that.
Yeah, it's so important to be heard. You know,
Yes.
whenever you're going through that stuff, it's just, you just want your voice heard and acknowledged. And I think, like I said, speaking as a parent, you want to have the right answer. You want to diffuse the hurt and the pain. And it's not always as easy as that. But being a listener, is really, really, really critical. And being available are so big, and telling your own story. So, yeah.
So let's broaden this beyond, like, this definitely applies to our grads, but it also applies this season of grieving, of loss, of disappointment. It really applies to every child, every student, every person in this season. So how are other students? How are other kids? Maybe it's kids in the children's ministry, or maybe it's students. Maybe it's your own kids. How are they experiencing this loss, this disappointment right now?
Yeah, so Melissa and I, my wife, we have 3 kids, and our oldest one, Theodore, he was a kindergartner this year. One thing that I can almost have in perspective is that at least a senior this year, even if they didn't get to graduate, they're like done with school and don't even have to think about what K through 12 looks like moving forward. We're sitting here in this state of limbo right now. We don't know what to tell Theo about what school's even going to look like for him next year. He wasn't the most thrilled with preschool in the first place, and so he only went like half the year, and we pulled him out, and because he didn't have to do preschool. And then doing kindergarten, he was really starting to get it, and he had friends, and he was loving it, and then all of a sudden he's not allowed to even see those friends anymore. And we're sitting here going, man, we hope that next year when he goes to school that he doesn't expect that summer is 7 months long every year, first off, because that's going to be really disappointing. And B, that he gets to, that he actually adapts to it. Like school to him is still such an anomaly. And so we're sitting here going, what's this even going to look like for these younger kids that barely know what's even going on, but they're mourning the loss of not getting to see cousins and friends and family. And for us parents too, man, it's crazy making. It is like, it's Groundhog's Day every day.
Yes.
And
you're making paper airplanes, you're doing everything. It's not working anymore.
Yeah. Every family that I've talked to, that's that same thing. If they have little kids, they're like, man, I am worn out. I am beat down. This is hard. I can't, I don't have any of those outlets. But that's hard. That's hard with our kids, right? When you see your kids experiencing that loss, and it's difficult.
Well, and you think about the loss, we've talked about high schoolers, these graduates, these seniors, but I've got 2 nieces, one graduating high school at Hyde Park and the other one from University in California. And neither one of them had graduation ceremonies. And even some of the preschool families, these adorable pictures you see of these families on Facebook, they'll first day of preschool, last day of preschool. It's adorable. And they're holding these cute little signs, but they're not in those situations where they normally would be. And each one of those transitions, the 5th graders coming into Scoops program, it's just, you want it to be a little different. You want it to be what you've always experienced in the past, and it's just not the same. I think Scoops and them had a video meeting this past Sunday.
Yeah, I met with the 5th grade parents, and normally we do that. We bring them into our space so they can get to know just the space, because they're coming from upstairs to downstairs. It's a little scary. It's a little overwhelming, intimidating. And we didn't get to do that, and normally they come to VBS and we get to meet them and interact with them for a whole week. And we just don't get to do that. And so that's, not only is that a loss for the kids, but it's a loss for us, and a loss of the time to build a relationship with those students. And so, we did the best we could. We met with them on Zoom. Yeah. It was great, but it just wasn't the same,
Yeah. And there's a lot of anticipation for them, right? For all these years looking, hey, I got to be in middle school. And it just doesn't have that big dun, dun, dun.
The 5th graders, you know what I'll tell you they're upset about? The lock-in.
Oh, yeah.
They're missing that 5th grade lock-in, and they are not happy. I made sure they knew we will have a 5th grade lock-in at some point. Even if they're in 7th grade, we'll have a 5th grade lock-in. Yes. So I promise.
Yeah. Always coming right out of Vacation Bible School. They always had that big lock-in.
The parents are missing that too.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've got a 2-year-old. And then I've got a 17-year-old and 19-year-old, and on both ends, they're really experiencing a lot of loss. Our little boy, who's 2, is every time we go by a park, he's like, the park's closed. The park's closed. Is the park open? And we're like, no, it's closed, buddy. And that's been a 3-month, 2.5-month conversation every single time. And that's his way of his mind trying to wrap around this. Like, this is the thing that I love, and I don't get to do it. And so I think wherever our kids are at, we're experiencing, the kids are experiencing that sort of loss, that sort of grief. So I guess as we turn the corner, we begin to talk about parents. How can parents, what are ways that parents can help their kids process and work through this? How can they help their kids who are experiencing this loss in this season?
I touched on it a little bit before, but I think allowing them time to grieve is really, really important. But allow your kids, in whatever facet within reason, to allow them to express their feelings. If you allow them to get that stuff out, whatever they're feeling in that moment, it's going to alleviate that emotional explosion down the road, that kind of thing. Create some platforms, simple things. I know we can't leave the house, whatever, but if you're sitting on the back patio, try and have those moments as much as you can to just talk to them and give them an opportunity to express how they're feeling. That's a big one.
I think you also said earlier, Todd, listen.
Oh, yeah.
I think you have to listen, because you can talk and you can tell them about your experience, and I think that's good, but it's different than what they're experiencing. And I think one thing I have learned as a student pastor is when a kid is telling you something about their life and what they're experiencing, whether you think it's a big deal or not, it is a big deal to them.
Yes.
So you can never say, oh, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's going to get better. You'll get over this.
Yeah.
Because to them, they can't see that far ahead. They are seeing this as it's the biggest deal in the world.
Yes.
And we have to understand that to them, it is the biggest deal in the world. And we need to treat it like that. And we need to allow them to talk about it and process and grieve. And we need to listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that makes it so difficult for parents to listen when their kids are hurting? What do you think is going on inside parents that's saying, hey, I it's hard to listen. I don't want to listen. Any thoughts?
I think it's natural for parents to apply, well, this is what I experienced in life, so this is the way I handled it, so it should work for you. The world that the kids grow up today is very, very different. One of the things, I have a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old, and I constantly find myself having to stretch back and spend time with people that have kids in that pocket that, I have that privilege of overseeing that, give me this window into what their journey is. And like I said, expressing that feeling, but not listening more than don't try to fix it. Yeah. I think is the big thing. Just don't try to fix it. I mean, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, no, I just think that's what parents are thinking. Like, I can fix this. I can make this better. And you might be able to, right? But for them, they need the time. And so it's not always about having the right answer. It's not always about sharing what happened to you, because yes, it may apply in some way, but they don't see that. They're like, you're old. You were in high school or middle school or elementary school 100 years ago, right? So they don't see the connection. They don't know that you have the larger perspective to see what's on the other side of that. But yeah, you don't always have to fix it. You don't always have to have the right answer.
I know one of the things for me personally that makes this hard is when my kids are experiencing something painful. I don't want to have to feel that, right? When they're experiencing pain, it's hard for me too. And so if I have to feel that, if I have to experience that, that's going to be that's hard for me. That's painful for me.
That's right.
And I don't want to have to feel that. So if I can bypass that and just give them the solution, that's easier. But that is the hard work of being a parent and actually listening and say, I'm going to sit with you in this painful season and actually I'm going to walk with you through it rather than let's just, fast track through it.
And the other thing for me that I've really had to focus on during this time is to have way more grace for myself and way more grace for my spouse, because the truth is we're trying to coach and parent and love on these kids through a pandemic that we are also going through. For me, this is the biggest struggle, and I still struggle with this like every single day, is the difference between being present at home and available to my family. I'm always present because I'm working from home, but I'm almost never available. But my kids don't know that, and it's been a really difficult dynamic for me to try and, because I want to pull up my laptop and my iPad and do all my Zoom calls and everything. I want to do it in the living room. I want to be around my family because I'm home and I'm going to take advantage of the time. But at the same exact token, I'm not actually available.
Right.
And it's this really weird mindset where I'm like, I actually owe it to myself to remove myself from this environment, whether it be a bedroom, a backyard, you name it, where I can focus on the things that I need to focus on, so my family isn't only getting a chunk of me and a chunk that's completely disengaged from who they are. And I don't know, with teenagers, how they perceive that. I will tell you for a fact that my 1-year-old daughter knows for a fact when I am disengaged with her.
Yes.
Because she knows exactly what to do to be like, you're done with that because I'm here and it's about me. Did you forget about this? So, so having more grace for myself and for my wife and creating time and pockets for us to be like, we need us time more than ever. We need solo time and couple time and more than ever because it's not easy.
And I think that's a really valid thing is for us as parents to be able to understand that for many of us, like I guess we're experiencing loss, we're experiencing disappointment, we're experiencing the hardship, and so like how would we advise parents who are experiencing all these challenges and also having their kids experience a loss? How do you parent? And you said, hey, we need to make sure that we're showing ourselves grace. And I'd love to hear if there is any other ideas. Like, what would you share to parents whose kids are really experiencing this loss, but parents themselves are like, I'm trying to process through all this myself.
Yeah. For me, the key thing, and we've said it multiple times, the key thing in my mind is don't feel like you have to have all the answers and seriously just listen to them. Because there's something that's extremely valuable about, I don't care how old you are, about feeling like you're heard. You can have the most productive 5 minutes with your child. And 5 minutes can feel like an eternity depending on what behavior your child's presenting, or it can feel like this amazing connecting moment. And another thing that I would tell parents is use your life stories. Use how, if there's something that comes to your mind, share with your kids how you navigated that. It's sort of what I sort of call the papa effect. Whenever I was feeling bad, I'd talk to my papa. I felt like my papa had a story for everything. Like he could help you sort of figure out whatever. And it was some random story about this, that, and the other. And you would go, okay, well, and for whatever reason as a kid, I still remember those stories. And I'm sure, I'm going to tell my grandkids those things, but listen to them. Don't feel like you have to have all the answers. And that goes a long, long way, So,
yeah.
I think it's important also I'm not a parent. Let me start with that. I'm not a parent. I don't have kids, so take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But I think it's okay to tell your kids, like, I'm not sure.
Yes.
This is hard for me too. We're all kind of walking through this together. It's okay to let your kids know that you're struggling too, and now not to the point where you're stressing them out and you're worrying them more than you should, but to let them know that this is hard for you too, and that it's a struggle for you too. That's good because that's a relatable moment where they can say like, "Oh, I'm not the only one. We're in this together."
Yeah. You and Travis said something similar of him saying, "Hey, we need to really have grace for ourselves," and you saying, "I need to be able to say, I don't know," and kind of just letting myself off the hook. What do you think? Why do you think this is such a hard thing for parents to be able to do? To actually say, I'm going to give myself grace, or I'm just going to say I don't know, and I'm going to, because I really don't. I'll have to make something up.
I think the parents are just exhausted,
Good, yeah.
like full on. Like the conversations I've had with people is between having to learn how to be an at-home teacher for 2 to 3 different age groups in some cases, it's just a ton for them to deal with. So I don't know, being able to have that bandwidth to be present. I think that's one of the challenges that I think parents face. So.
Cool. Well, this has been a great conversation. We're going to pick this up next week. But this has been a great conversation talking about just loss and disappointment, the class of 2020. So I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate you guys talking and sharing, and thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week.